Okay.
Alright, so welcome to the Redux edition of the first episode of the High Caliber Podcast. It is Monday, September 3rd, 2018, Labor Day. We had a bit of a glitch with our system in our first attempt at our podcast, so we're going to give it another shot. I am Tim Calber.
I'm Fish.
I'm Deshaun.
And this is the High Caliber Podcast. So, what's on our agenda for today?
I figured we would just talk about, TVs, not specific TVs, but TV, movies, upcoming stuff, video games.
Yeah, speaking of TVs, I really wish they'd go back to the day when they were like 12-inch screens and like a 6-foot wide wooden cabinet. Those were just the greatest TVs ever. When you guys
12 inch, no.
the screen's this
And they just
big
sat right
and
on
the
the
cabinet's
floor.
like this wide.
I don't know if you know this about me, but I like my 60-inch.
I don't know if you noticed about me, but we're watching the projector.
Yeah.
So,
That's cool.
a little sarcasm there.
Yeah.
Those were the days of TVs when the TV literally weighed like 800 pounds and the screen was like 16 inches.
Right.
So, my dad may still have one of those.
And no clicker, usually.
But more seriously, on a movie and TV note, anybody seen anything new recently?
I saw Gran Torino, like I was telling you.
Was that your first time or?
No, no, it was just a late night.
Gotcha.
It was just on, and you were like, you know what?
Yeah.
I'm gonna watch this.
Yeah, I've seen it. I own it. I've seen it a few times, but not in a while. I remember really enjoying it
Yeah.
and
It's not bad.
loving Clint Eastwood's character because he's such a cocksucker in that movie, man.
Yeah.
But
One thing about Clint Eastwood is he always, every movie he's in, he always kind of plays up how much of an asshole he is. Like, even Dirty Harry and shit like that. I'm never like, oh man, Dirty Harry's so cool, he's a good guy.
Well-
Like, he just fucking slaughters dudes in the street,
well, even in the Nameless Trio, the spaghetti western,
yeah.
Good and Bad, the Ugly, Fistful of Dollars, a few dollars more. He's the good guy, but he's still a dick. I
Yeah.
mean, he'll you say one wrong word to him, he'll shoot your ass, and because it's a movie, you're usually a bad guy, but still, you don't care, whether you live or die. It's like don't cross him.
Right.
Yep.
But kind of same thing in this, except for you add a racist to this one. But
Yeah.
Well, there are plenty of races.
I watched an interesting flick this week. Wesley Snipes' movie, an attempt to crawl out of the hole he got caused by the IRS by not paying his taxes for like 20 years or whatever. But called Gallow Walkers. The movie itself was pretty poorly made, but had a good premise. A good plot. Basically, at the beginning of the movie, something happens to Wesley Snipes' mother when she's pregnant with him. And then, right after birth, she has to give him up for whatever reason, and she joins, it seems like a futuristic world, and she joins this, I don't know if you call it a cult, it's the Sisters of something. And they're kind of magical, nuns, I guess. They have, preternatural, abilities. But, whatever reason, she has to give him up, so he's raised and all this, and he kind of becomes a gunslinger. And because it is set.
So does the mom have magical powers? If she joins them, does she get magical
yeah,
powers?
their god kind of gives them power. Basically, I'll in a minute when I get to that point, it kind of gives you an idea. But basically, he becomes a gunslinger. It's back in the old West days, and he gets shot. So he kills this these bad guys kill his girlfriend. And so he goes back and gets revenge on them, but while he's getting revenge, he's shot and is going to die. And somehow, out of nowhere, he hasn't seen his mother in 30 years or however old he is. But when he's getting ready to die, his mom just shows up on a horse. And comes over and puts him in a hug and prays to her God, the leader of their cult or whatever, and asks him to save her son's life.
She
And so
shows up randomly?
right. Never seen her before. He talks about her a little bit, says, he knows she's in this cult or whatever it is. And but never see her, and then all of a sudden when he gets shot, she just shows up and was save my son's life, and I'll make the sacrifice if I need to, and all this. And so her God grants her wish, but kind of curses him at the same time because he comes back to life, but now everybody that he has killed previously or that he kills in the future comes back to life as an undead with only one purpose, and that purpose is to hunt him. And so basically the premise of the movie at this point is he goes out to hire this kid that's a good gunslinger, but pretty young and raw, because he needs help killing all these undead, because he knows that, unless he decapitates them or shoots them in the head, they just come back to life when he kills them. But if this other kid kills them, he can kill them basically just as a normal person, and they'll die and stay that way. And so, but the whole thing is just really poorly done, because, Wesley Snipes does a decent job. He's the normal Wesley Snipes kind of action character, that you see. But the whole rest of the movie is it's horribly acted. He goes and gets the kid, but never teaches him anything, never shows him anything. And then 10 minutes, the first fight they get into, the kid gets shot and killed. And it's what the hell's the point in that? And so, like I said, the premise was really cool. It's a good idea.
It's very Karate Kid-ish with a weird supernatural edge.
But the whole time I'm watching it, I'm thinking this has got to be based off a comic book, because everything in it's very comic booky as far as just the way some of the scenes are shot and some of the ideas and the basics. I'm because you could tell that it seemed like somebody took a bunch of something and tried to jam it into an hour-and-a-half movie. They took 100 issues of a comic book and tried to jam it in one short little movie. But, the movie wasn't it was entertaining. I watched it, didn't get bored. I was at work, working a third shift, didn't fall asleep, anything like that. So it kept my interest, but...
Is it, super action-y? Is it,
No. It's a Western. It's basically him going around being kind of a badass and, trying not to kill people because he knows they're going to come back, and then it shows the people that he killed coming back to life, because the leader of that group kind of becomes that's the other thing that's bad about it is the very beginning of the movie, the leader is literally just a muscle man. He has no skin. By the leader I mean the main guy of the bad group that he killed, that killed his girlfriend or kidnapped her.
Does he have no skin because
I have no idea. It just shows him with no skin. He's just there's no blood or nothing. It's just all he's completely covered in muscle.
Does that have something to do with how he killed him?
And so I don't know. He just shoots him, and he just shoots him they're all in because they've been arrested and they're all in jail, and he just walks through the jail shooting them all in their cells. But the thing is that before he got there, the leader's kid hung himself in the prison.
All right, so he doesn't come back to life.
And so he doesn't come back to life until the bad guys thing. The whole movie is why didn't my son come back to life? We got to figure out a way. So they create this cult. Right at the beginning of the movie, they kill somebody and he steals this person's skin and puts it on, so he has skin, so he looks like a normal person the rest of the movie. But then he goes out up on these gallows that have 7 people, and literally these 7 people on these gallows are there the entire length of this movie. And they finally hang them at the very end. So they're there for a couple days, I think. Just standing there with bags over their head and nooses around their neck, and don't ever collapse from hunger or fatigue or anything. But so he gets up and gives this big speech about how you people call us such and such, not daywalkers, but kind of something like that. And I'm dude, you were just created 5 minutes ago, and you're the only ones that exist. Yeah. But yet you're these legendary creatures that people call something already, and you're come on. So like I said, it was it seemed like there was supposed to be a lot more to it, but there just wasn't anything there in the movie. It's if you like kind of cheesy movies that have a little bit of action and just some dumb shit, then I tell you it's something to watch. But it's not something I'm gonna watch again unless I watch it with somebody else that just really, really wants to see how bad it is.
I don't know about watching Wesley Snipes movies anymore, man.
But that's kind of why I gave it a shot. I'm
Wesley Snipes.
Because Wesley Snipes, of course, black guy western. It's always a little, taboo, whatever you want to call it.
Django opened the door.
Because there was a few before that.
Yeah, but
West opened the door.
Django made it mainstream. He kicked
Yeah.
the fucking door open,
Right.
and shot it off the hinges.
Right.
Made sure
Because there have been, because Magnificent Seven had a black guy in it and shit like that. But yeah, for the most part, there really haven't been. With Denzel, the new Magnificent Seven, that's post Django, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
But so there are some, but just not a ton. But that fact, plus he's still got his dreadlocks, and he's he's got dreadlocks. He basically just looks like Blade.
Oh, yeah.
Looks like Blade with
And,
dreadlocks and a cowboy hat. It's
yeah.
kind of what he is in this movie. But yeah, that was pretty much the only like new movie I saw. Like, not new. It's like from like 2013 or 14, but it's new to me. Something I hadn't seen before. But like I said, it's not really something I'd recommend, but it caught my interest, and I was like, Western, a little bit of supernatural stuff, undead. It's got a good, premise, but just not well executed.
Speaking of not well executed, I guess the most recent movie I can think of that I saw was Kingsman 2, The Golden Circle. Not good.
We discussed that the other day. Yeah, you were.
I mean, like,
I liked the first.
I love the first.
Right,
one.
I really like.
I think the first one, and not because I'm a pervert, but I think the first one's got one of the most perfect endings ever.
Yeah, because
When he's like, and she's like, if you save the world right now, we can do it in the butt. And of course, the first thing he does when he finishes saves the world is grabs a bottle of champagnes and flowers, heads right back to the door, and the last thing you see is just this chick's really nice ass before he's getting ready to penetrate. You're just like, that's just fucking perfect, because movies don't do that shit anymore. You don't just get some fun, gratuitous fucking nudity.
yeah,
It's like everybody's afraid to do that shit, and it's just like, if you get nudity, it's just tits. You don't ever get like a. I mean, it like showed her. I mean, it wasn't like spread open, but I mean, you could literally like see her asshole.
her chocolate starfish.
And it's just like you don't just see that shit anymore. And that's like basically the only nudity in the whole movie. So it's not like it's one of those movies. It's just like titties and boobs every 5 minutes. It's just but to me, it's just fun because you don't see shit like that anymore. And it's the ending of a movie, and you're seeing somebody's rear end, so it's kind of perfect.
And then it farts in your face.
Oh my god.
But no, like the first one to me was like fun. It was like,
Oh, you meant the butt fart in your face. I thought you meant the movie series farted in your face with the second one.
well, it did, but like the first one was like cool. Like I find like James Bond to be kind of dry and boring, so this is kind of like James Bond if it was fun to me. So
But have you seen the old James Bonds? Because they're so
I've seen
cheesy.
some of those. They're
They're so
cheesy.
cheesy, they are fun.
And those are fun, cheesy, but they're not like good.
No, they're not. I mean, they're action flicks with a lot of cheese and a kind of whodunit
All right.
for about 30 minutes, and
Yeah.
you know
and then
whodunit.
it's like, all right. So
But yeah, I mean, the newer ones are better. I mean, the best one I think is still Skyfall. But anyway,
so the first one was fun, slick, cool action. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna give the second one a chance. Because normally when a sequel comes out, I'm like, whatever, I don't care. So I'm watching it, and I'm like, the villain setup is really cool. Like she kind of just sits back in this big
is she like anti
poppy land.
Isn't she like evil Aquawoman? Like Aquaman's nemesis? What did she do with animals or some shit you said?
Oh, she is.
No, she's the drug chick. She's all over.
Yeah.
She like grows every drug on the fucking planet.
Yeah,
or
she's like in
something.
control of
That's
all
what
the
it
drugs
is.
on the
Yeah,
planet or
that's
some
what it
shit.
is.
So she like is stuck in this weird like carnival land, not carnival, but like an amusement park that's like based off of drugs. Like it's called Poppy Land, and her name's like Madame Poppy or something. I don't remember because she sucks. They don't do anything with her at the end of the day. They like at the end of the movie, they kind of just deal with her like it's nothing, and then they move on and forget she ever existed. Yeah, like I don't know. It's just stuff about this movie where like the plot was dumb. They had Channing Tatum, who was really awesome in this movie, but they didn't use him at all. So he's there for like a cool 5-minute scene, and then he's sent to the background.
He was really popular then. Maybe that's all I could afford.
Right, yeah. Like Madame Pop, like the Poppy lady sucked because her whole motivation was retarded. Like she just wanted to go home, but she was just like so immensely rich and powerful that she controlled basically the entirety of the drug trade. Like I think they give a hard number. It's like 95% or some shit like that.
Damn.
So like all drugs are like poisoned with the shit she put in them, and she holds the world like hostage. It's like, okay, so you're telling me that you're so rich and powerful, you can't just like get a passport or something. You can't like have somebody sneak you into the country,
Private jet,
Right, you can't pay somebody off. You can't talk to like a government official to just let you in the country.
Take a fucking boat.
That was dumb. like they brought back one character from the previous movie.
Yeah,
who
Colin
died.
Firth. Like, did
Yeah.
they explain how he got shot
Yeah,
in
they
the
have-
eyeball and he's still alive?
They have magic goo that fills his brain and it fixes him.
What?
And
Oh,
and he
Lord.
doesn't have his memory for about 20 minutes. And they're like, how do they fucking bring his memory back?
I mean, he forgets the last 20 minutes?
He like he forgets like a long ass time, like 20 years or some shit, and the only way to bring it back is to put him through like a traumatic experience.
Take him to Jeeves.
So
Right.
basically, when they fix his brain, he still sucks because he's still a little off his game, and he ends up doing like the most retarded, fucking stupid, dumb shit ever. About halfway through, not even halfway through, like I would say about like 70% of the way through the movie, he does some super mega dumb shit, and that's like indefensible, and you're like, why did you bring this guy back? His entire like death made the main character like it changed his character, like it gave him something like to fight for.
Right.
Like it's like Peter Parker losing Uncle Ben. You know.
I mean, if they're gonna do that shit, they should have just like brought him back as like a force ghost. Like, oh, we have the technology to keep his soul around so he can still talk to us and shit or something. But yeah, we got this goo that filled in the holes in his brain. He's okay now.
And then like the villain isn't changing like 99% of the way through the movie. Oh, movie's about to be over. Nope, new villain out of nowhere for no reason. But it was.
So they try to do like a twist, but it doesn't work.
Not really, because you can kind of see it happening. Like it ends up being somebody who betrays them, and it's like, yeah, you can actually like his reasoning is stupid, but it's not like. I guess what he tries to do is like the biggest piece of shit.
Is
in
it
the world
the head
type shit,
American guy?
not the head, but he's like he runs like a branch, like.
But he's one of the American like Kingsman things.
The statesman is
Yeah.
what the American ones
Yes.
are called, and they fucking.
I could tell from the preview one of those guys was going bad.
So he betrays them because
doesn't like their teeth.
his wife or his fiance got killed by random druggies one day. So he's like, fuck everybody who uses drugs. They can all die for all I give a fuck. So
They killed the woman that did all the drugs, so why'd they betray her?
right, and you know how they even fucking kill her? They run up in her office and are like, give us the password to your computer now. And she's like, no. So they drug her, and then she overdoses. And she just dies, and that's it. They totally forget she's this. Like, she basically, like, mumbles through her drug-induced haze what the password is, and they figure it out. And then she dies. And then that's it. That's it. Like, so dumb. It was bad. And then the president was also a villain because he was just going to let all the people who use her drugs die.
Oh, wow.
And that's like billions of
Everybody.
people. Yeah, so he was just going to let them all die. Because he was like, fuck them. I don't give a fuck about those drug pushers. I'll win the war on drugs if I do that. And it's like, gross. That was dumb. It was bad. It was bad.
Have either of you guys seen Rubber?
That movie about the con.
About the tire that kills people.
The tire that kills people, his name is Robert.
The tire has a name?
The tire's the name, his
I
name
did
is
not
Robert.
Shit.
Yeah, he literally just strolls up to the scene
Well, it's like they
and
gave
stares at the person and they die.
they give like the Jaws shark a name too. He was called Bruce.
What?
Yeah.
What?
I've never
Bruce was
heard
the
that.
shark from Finding Nemo.
Yeah, they named it after the shark from Jaws.
Sure about
Was that just like
For sure.
the mechanical shark itself? Just
Yeah,
just gave it a name?
gave it a name.
Ah, I got you.
For the set.
Bruce.
Bruce.
They still call me Bruce. Those are great flicks, man. They call me Bruce. They still call me Bruce. You ever seen those?
I've seen Batman. That's
Like,
like Bruce I know.
They call me
Except for
Bruce.
Bruce Almighty.
They call me Bruce is like it's basically just about stereotypes. It's an early '80s flick about this Asian dude that everybody just assumes knows karate, and so he just starts like pretending he knows how to do karate and shit like that. But and gets into just a bunch of hijinks and stuff. And then there's another one called They Still Call Me Bruce. But yeah, it's basically just like the
because like Bruce Lee.
it's basically like the stereotype about how like people, American people think all Asian people know karate or some kind of martial arts. But yeah, they're pretty funny. But I'm sure if I watched them again, they're probably crazy racist. But
Maybe a lot of shit Bruce.
70s and 80s, it's kind of how it went, especially in the 70s. But any TV anybody watched lately?
I I watched Disenchantment. That's the latest thing I can think of. From the
That's like
creators
the
of Simpsons.
Futurama meets the Dark Ages kind of shit.
Yeah, it's like Middle Ages, but it's like a fantasy world kind of.
Like Futurama meets Dungeons and
Yeah.
Dragons. Okay.
It's very like kind of cynical and bleak and a little depressing. But it's like, and there are no like belly laughs, like me laughing out loud or anything. But there's jokes where I'm like, that was a pretty good joke. That was actually well crafted, you know. And it's I mean, the characters are like the most unlikable pieces of shit you could ever imagine. It's kind of like Always Sunny a little bit,
Yeah.
mixed with Futurama, mixed with D&D, you know.
Because I always love. I mean, Futurama is one of my favorite cartoons. Bender, maybe my favorite cartoon character ever.
Yeah.
But
Always Sunny's great.
Right, so it's like, you would think this would be kind of good, but this kind of doesn't go. This is very dry, and it doesn't really go to like the crazy extremes that Always Sunny does.
no.
But, like,
Which
the
is
kinda-
weird
like,
considering it's like a Netflix show.
Yeah,
That,
but, like
you know,
the vibe is very Always Sunny, to where you feel like you're kind of like grossed out sometimes with some of the
Yeah.
shit, and you're like, ooh, like you're skeeved out a little bit. But you know, this really doesn't cross that line too much.
Yeah, I remember seeing some previews for it and thinking it seemed interesting, but I don't have Netflix or whatever it's on, so my ability to watch it is limited.
I thought it was like a small adventure, like the whole series would be about one adventure, but I guess it's not. It's just like Futurama, where shit kind of. Except unlike Futurama, there's like an actual ongoing storyline.
Oh, it's
like
ongoing
stuff
storyline,
changes
yeah.
from episode to episode. Like they'll mention what happened last episode.
Yeah, because
you know,
Futurama
what
every
happens next
once in a while will reference something.
Yeah,
For
but
the
yeah,
most
Futurama
part,
would go back
it's
to
just all
sex
random timing, yeah. Obviously, the show itself has its clear storyline. but,
Right.
Yeah, I don't watch a lot of TV. I watch a decent amount of TV, but not like TV shows. I watch a decent amount of wrestling and a lot of cartoons, sports, mostly like baseball and football, college basketball. Can't stand the NBA, but wrestling was interesting in the past couple of weeks. I usually watch Raw and SmackDown on Monday and Tuesdays. Wednesday nights is Lucha Underground. Thursdays is TNA or Impact, whatever it's called. I think Friday night there's one called Major League Wrestling, but I only watched 1 week of that and haven't gone back since. But they're all right. I mean, Raw's a 3-hour show. Usually takes me about an hour and 20 minutes to watch, maybe, after I fast forward through all the shit I don't want to see and all the just dumb shit. But the best one right now really is probably Lucha Underground, although it's starting to border on like ridiculous.
Yeah, we've been watching it where it's been more about the drama than the wrestling.
Well, and it's just, but the consistency's not great because like 2 weeks ago, literally a guy got murdered on the show. Like this other guy grabbed him around the neck from like behind and stabbed him in the head a bunch of times with like a pencil-shaped type object. And I mean, the blood, like, it didn't actually show the pencil like going into his head or anything, but like it showed it from above, and like all the blood just splattering all over the guy doing it and all over the wall. And it's like, okay, this guy's clearly dead. I mean, you don't stab somebody in the head with a pencil-shaped object 30 times and all that blood and them not be dead.
Not die.
Yeah, so then the next week, the guy that murdered him is on Lucha Underground, and they don't even breach the fact that he murdered somebody the week before. Nothing. I mean, no, because the guy that he murdered was showing up for a party that they were having. And, like, nobody's like, hey, why didn't this guy show up for the party? Or where was he at? Or, how come he never came or anything? It's just like, not only do they not ask that, but they didn't even bother to talk about the fact that, this guy got murdered, on, broadcast television.
Right.
So even though it's a storyline, you still televised it. So, I mean, why haven't the cops come and gotten him or, anything? So,
yeah, like, I don't know what the deal is with the storyline, like.
And then, I don't know. I mean, it's...
Even some of the character stuff, like Johnny Mundo and his friends all being, like, such dicks to, what's his name?
That's the guy that they're being dicks to is the one that murdered the guy.
So it's like, but the level to which they're like assholes to him, I kind of understand it. And I get that they tried to kick him out of the club and he just won't leave. But, like...
Well, think about it, though. I mean,
they treat him like trash.
Well, but that's the point, is that, like, think about, put yourself in that situation where you got a group of, 4 or 5 friends that hang out all the time, have a good time, and then all of a sudden, one person just shows up and tries to hang out with you, and you're a complete, that other person is a complete douchebag, and all of a sudden he literally starts dressing just like you, and changes his hair to be just like you, and starts talking just like you, and trims his beard to look just like you. And the whole time you hate the guy, you're telling him we don't want to be eating any part of you, stay away from us, and he just won't go away. I mean, my thing is what do you do to get rid of the guy at that point?
You challenge him to a fucking match and whoop his ass.
Well, but I mean, the guy's dumb enough that that's not going to work. Clearly, I mean, they treat him like garbage, like you said, and he acts like they don't even talk. Acts like it's nothing. So I don't know, but like I said, the wrestling is still the best quality wrestling, but it's getting to the point where the other stuff is just becoming kind of just over the top and silly.
Like, how much time do they spend on that fucking wedding? Like all that wedding bullshit.
And we all know how fucking weddings and wrestling go. They never go well. And then of course they talk about how there's just going to be this huge big event that's going to happen, and they bring out Matanza, and he comes out, and he's the one that always beats his opponent up, and then basically sacrifices that person to his god, and the lights go off, and that person disappears, and you never see him again.
So he bother fucking doing that though.
So he comes. That's what I mean. So he comes out, and you think, okay, like he's gonna beat them all up, and then he's gonna like sacrifice either Johnny or Taya, his wife, to kind of ruin everything. But all he does is just come out and beat them all up, and sadly he beats her up worse than he does the rest of them. But he doesn't.
Kicks her into a cake.
Yeah, but he doesn't.
Fucks up everybody's tacos.
Yeah, just throws her on breaks all the free tacos for everybody, and then throws her on top of the cake that nobody gets to have now. So it's just like, what was the point in all that? If you're gonna do that, you can have anybody come out and beat him up. You don't have to waste him.
Could just been fucking Mil Muertes or some shit.
And Impact is, it's interesting. It's getting better, but
that's the one when they killed a child, right? They hit a child with a car, crushed all the bones.
Yeah. So this kid gets run over, not struck by, run over by like a Cadillac with 3 dudes in it that are trying to run over somebody else. I mean, it runs him over. And somehow this week they're like, oh yeah, he's gonna make a full recovery. He's gonna be fine.
Because they're like, well, we're just gonna abandon this storyline now.
Yeah, because everybody's like, oh man, wait a minute, we're promoting gang warfare and you're running over little kids.
Right.
Maybe this is the wrong way to go.
Like kids getting hurt in the crossfire of that gang warfare.
So it's like, hello.
Was it an accident?
No. Well, no, it was like
story.
Like the whole they're basically, it's like there's 2 Hispanic tag teams, and they both have like a manager, and one of them's old school, one of them's new, and so like the old school guys tag team wins, and so they're having this big celebration with their literal gang wearing bandanas and all that shit, and they're all Latin of some kind. I'm not gonna guess as to where they're from, because the wrestlers are probably from all over South America.
Or they're also just white guys in tans.
Right, but so they're all doing their whole gang thing and talking about that shit, and they're like, oh man, I got the head guy's like, oh, I got this gift for you guys. Let's go check it out. It's over in my car. And so they all get up as a group, and they've got this 10-year-old kid with them, and he's holding both the belts, and they all get up to go across the street. Meanwhile, while all this is going on, the scene jumps to the guys that lost the tag team fight, and they're their leader in this car, and of course they got their bandanas over their face as their face masks and their colors on their head, and they're clearly driving to do some kind of drive-by or something against these guys. And so they get there, and so as they're going across the street, of course, all of a sudden the lights come out of nowhere, the car lights, and then you hear squealing tires, and it comes flying by, and it's dark, so you can't really see anything. And then all of a sudden, literally, this kid's laying right in the middle of the road. He literally had to go on under the middle of the car and came out under the middle of the car. And so there's no way you're surviving that shit. And he's just laying in the middle of the street. And they're like, oh, Ricky, or whatever the fuck his name is. And, all this kind of shit. And so it's just of course the car just keeps going. So yeah, it's just, that shit was I don't it's wrestling, it's fake. So I get it. But it's they're trying, the whole world right now is trying to be all this anti-bully and all this anti-negative shit, and yet you're literally promoting gang warfare and a child being injured in the crossfires of that, and it's just like,
Never.
really, this is where you want to go with this. So, I don't know, but that's just kind of my take on it. But I enjoy wrestling it, for the most part. Me and my buddies just sit around, my other buddies that watch it sit around and just kind of bitch about it and how much better we could write it, and we probably could because the shit right now is terrible. But and they're also limited on what they can do. That's the other reason Lucha's better, because Lucha actually lets these guys wrestle and do wrestling moves, and on WWE, everybody's got a 5 or 6 move repertoire, and
use it over and over and over.
That's all they're allowed to do. So it's like we sit there and predict one match after another. It's like, oh yeah, Braun's getting ready to go shoulder first into the post, and bam, and it's like, oh man, AJ's gonna try another phenomenal forearm, and it's like, when was the last time tuning up the band actually led to a successful Sweet Chin music?
Yeah.
It's like, I know that's kind of in the past, but I mean, literally, that worked the first time Shawn Michaels did it. And then every time after that, all it did was tell his opponent he's getting ready to kick you in the face.
Yeah.
And so the opponent would block it or get out of the way or something like that. And then he would sneak it in later eventually. And so, but I don't want to get too much on wrestling today because, I know neither one of you guys really watch much. Fish doesn't really watch at all. And Sean watches a little bit of Lucha with me, but that's really about it. So
I mean, I watch Raw sometimes too. That's just like see how bad it is, really.
Because by the time I fast forward through everything I don't want to see in a 3-hour episode, it ends up being like an hour and 20 minutes. So not great. But so what is so any other TV? Fish, you watched any TV lately?
I've been watching reruns of Fast 7.
Yeah.
I know you hate that show.
I also hate that show.
Yeah.
I enjoy the first few. I enjoy the first few seasons of it.
Yeah, the later seasons.
But as soon as they're like done with high school, I'm done with the show because they all split up and go their separate ways. And it's like not that Topher Grace is fantastic, but I liked Eric's character, and Eric's gone, and I think
Kind of just like after a while.
like Austin Kutcher's character's gone, and it's like all you got left are like Jackie, who was without question the most annoying character on that show. I don't care how attractive she was. I just zoned out every time she was on that show.
What's his name? Pretty fucking dude.
Austin Kutcher?
No.
Eric?
No.
Hyde?
No.
Oh,
the actually annoying guy.
Fez.
Yeah.
The foreign kid. Fez.
Annoying as fuck.
Fez was funny, but yeah, he was kind of like the Jar Jar Binks of that 70s show. But the best part of the show is Red, without question.
Oh, yeah.
Red
He
Foreman.
elevates it.
Yeah, I mean...
He just plays the same character he played in fucking RoboCop.
Yeah.
He's nice at that.
Yeah, because I mean, a lot of my buddies are, like you guys are quite a bit younger than me, and Fish and one of his close group of friends kind of call me like the Red Foreman of the group because every time one of them does something stupid, I'm the first one to be like, dumbass.
Yeah.
And I'm the first one to be like, yeah, I'll put my foot in your ass. That's one of Red's favorite sayings. I said shit like that before I started watching it, so I'm not going to take the claim to fame, but I'm also not going to say that that's the reason I used to say it. But yeah, so I mean, it was okay, but
to me, it's on like that Friends level.
Nah, see, I watched Friends and I couldn't stand that shit. But I could do that 70s show probably because they were potheads and got a lot of hijinks. I mean, the Tommy Chong character in that is hysterical. Owns the photo hut, basically place. The photo hut where they work, and he basically plays like Chong from Cheech and Chong. It's like one of those little drive up phone photo booths that's in like the parking lot of a mall or something. And you just drive up and drop off your pictures, and of course the people will come up to get their pictures, and they're just sitting there just going through somebody's pictures, randomly looking at all of them. And
I think
but don't they see somebody's mom naked in one of those or something like that at one point or something, and ends up being kind of like a whole premise of a couple.
To me, it's like the same show because young people trying to live their lives, and the only difference is that it's the places that they take place. And that 70s show is a little wackier.
So that's why I liked it better because Friends they were a little older, and so they were trying to be more adult, even though they were doing the wacky dumb shit. So I wanted to punch Ross in the face every time he fucking opened. I mean, every fucking time. And Matt, what's his face was much better. Joey was dumb and annoying.
Aniston was hot.
Yeah, Courtney Cox was hotter than that.
No. I'm putting my foot down on that. Aniston's hotter than Cox.
Disagree. Courtney Cox and Ace Ventura. It's so hot, man. Although I've never seen either one of them naked, so who's to say they both could have like floppy, indigenous titties and shit.
I saw Aniston naked.
No, you didn't.
Back when I had a date with her back in 03.
No, you didn't.
Yeah.
No, you didn't.
Right.
Yeah, but I know somebody that did. No, you didn't.
No.
My uncle was a guy who works at Nintendo.
Try it.
Mario doesn't count.
Mario gets everybody. In Hollywood, it's all about who you know. I know crap.
Mario would know everybody. Like, plumber.
Mario's a bitch. All he wants is Princess. Whatever the fuck her
All he
name is.
needs,
Princess
man.
Peach or whatever her name is.
Yeah, I think Princess Peach was enjoying her time with Bowser.
Think about
You
it.
think? I mean, how many times did that dude capture her ass?
I know.
Think about it, Tim. The reason they keep Mario in this loop of saving the princess. Look at how powerful this motherfucker is.
Mario?
One time he fucking picked Bowser up by his tail and threw him into like a different dimension.
Yeah.
Okay?
Well,
He's constantly beating up giant monsters and shit. With his fists.
Yeah, but he worked his way up, bro. I mean, he started out with like
Well, think about
lobsters
it.
and shit.
He's crazy strong now. And
Yeah.
now they have to keep him in this loop of saving the princess or else he'll get bored and he'll just take over Mushroom Land.
See, here's the thing. This is where you're mistaken the whole premise of Mario. Because none of this shit is actually real.
Oh, it's a stage play. In Mario 3, it's like a stage play.
No, the whole thing is based on the fact that all those games are a hallucination by fucking Mario because he's eating those mushrooms all the fucking time.
A lot of mushrooms.
The
Like
whole
different
game,
kinds,
I mean, think about it. The whole series is just Mario on mushrooms thinking about having to save the princess.
Right.
And all the shit he's got to do and being jealous because she figures he's probably banging some big old dude with a big old cock like Bowser. And that Bowser's just his hallucinogenic representation of the cuck, or whatever. So,
Mario,
The douche.
Mario would be a cuck.
will he be the cucker then? Or Mario's the cuck E?
I don't know.
How does that work? So what do you call the guy that's fucking your wife if you're the cuck?
Oh, you call him the guy who's fucking your wife.
No, there's got to be a name for that. There is in the BDSM world or some shit like that.
Well,
but
I know Miss. Not really.
he's the cucker.
Well,
And you're the cucky.
She would be the mistress if it was a man cheating on his wife. So I guess he would be
The mister?
The cuck eye.
the cookie.
Telling you, he's the cucker.
The cucker.
And
Phone to fuck your wife. The
And
cucker.
he's the cuck E.
That's a Marvel superhero right there.
The cucker? we already made up.
We know who that is. Yeah,
we already made up one Marvel superhero today, so we're good.
Well, the cucker would be Wolverine. He kind of just fucks it. He fucked well, he really wants to fuck Jean Grey, which is Cyclops' girl. They might have done it once or twice, like psychically though.
Yeah, right?
But
You know who'd be a freak in the stack? Storm.
You like electrocuting your balls
Storm's
and shit.
kind of
That's what I'm
vanilla.
saying.
Look, dude, there are some freaky ass chicks in the Marvel universe.
Oh,
Like they're like animal women. Like,
Man, I want the fucking the X-Men chick. What the fuck is her name?
Nightcrawler.
Mallow or not Mallow.
The one that has like eight
Marrow.
different. The one that has like 8 names. The supersonic, hydroponic.
Supersonic Teen. No, dude.
No,
you
he's
don't
talking
want
about
her.
Negasonic
Teenage Warhead. Yeah, because
just
he's
the chick,
seen the version
just
of her
the
in
chick that
Deadpool.
plays her in Deadpool.
Brianna
yeah.
Hildebrand.
The version of her in the comic books is like this fucked up, weird ass, like pale skinned. She's got like long, like stringy black hair.
Yeah.
She's fucking horrifying looking. She
her-
dies in 1 second.
Her and
so.
Domino. Ugh, man. So I'm screaming. Mana Joe 3.
I don't know what that
It's like how they say Menage a Trois in South Park.
man joke for you.
Yeah. But Cartman's mom calls it.
Oh yeah.
Cartman's mom's a dirty slut.
That's a fact.
It is a fact. They had a whole episode about how she's a dirty slut. She
They had a
fucked.
whole episode about that.
She slept with 2 of them
They
actually.
had a whole episode about whoever Cartman's father was.
Well, that's the same episode, and there's 2 of them. Yeah. Cartman's mom's a dirty slut.
Wasn't his father the entire like not Cleveland, but the
Dallas Cowboys or something.
no, it was like
or
some football team.
the Denver Broncos.
Yeah, Cartman's father is the entire Denver Broncos.
Yeah, because they all like fucked her at the drunken barn dance.
That's ridiculous.
All right, so we did a little movies, we did a little TV.
Video games. Cyberpunk 2077. I'm never excited for that shit finish.
Looked pretty good, I thought.
Tim wasn't impressed.
I thought it looked pretty good.
Me too.
It looked like Fifth Element meets Blade Runner.
My thing is, I'm just like, I didn't dislike it, but again, to me, just maybe it was because the way the demo we watched, like the 48-minute thing they posted or whatever. I think I would have enjoyed it more if they would have like started from the beginning and then jumped ahead a little bit, as opposed to just like starting in the middle. Because like at one point, like he was like, okay, now we got to go find this person, and the guy just like ran straight to that person. Like, well, how the fuck did he know where that person was at? And I'm like looking on the screen for like the map or like the target that says, okay, the person's here, so follow, walk towards the dot until you get to them, or something like that. It's like, is this the whole game just completely fucking random to where you know who you have to find, but you just got to literally wander all over Hell's Half Acre until you find them?
I mean, they showed you get all that stuff later. Like they showed the scene where she puts in her robotic eye and a map shows up, like all of her head stuff shows up.
Right, but that's my thing is like, anytime she was going to find something, it never like showed the target, or like like how did she know where this person was at, or how did she know where what she was trying to find? Because he was just like
watched it on your not HD.
No,
character.
not HD, but 10 feet wide, so it was big enough that you should have been able to, even if my thing was there was nothing on the screen except for like her health and shit. It was. I'm not saying that's the reason I'm not going to get the game or anything, but like I said, to me, I think I would have liked to seen a little bit of like, the character creation at the beginning and like how the storyline kind of started out, and then jump to where she's a little higher level and get into some of the cool shit that she can do. Because I'm not, I'm an RPG person, an open world RPG, but to this point, all of my shit has been in like the fantasy type world, swords and armor and magic and shit like that. And this game, it's guns and other kinds of weapons, and so like it's something I need to get used to. And so for me, for an actual demo of a game, it's like I want to see some of the actual mechanics of it. I want the person talking to tell me, okay, because he just started fighting, and I want to know what he's doing with that controller to do that fight. Is he just is he hitting a couple hotkeys on the controller, or is he having to, hit 10 different buttons to select what he wants to do from a list of like 1,000 abilities? Because I like the games that are a little more simplified because I'm an idiot. And so I need the games to be, like Skyrim and Fable, Dragon Age. I love those kind of games, but I got into games like Witcher, and it's like, you have to hit 8 buttons to swing a sword, and I don't want to have to do that.
No. It is by the same people, so. But I mean, I'm sure.
Because I thought the scenery was cool, the game,
I'm sure you got to do a lot because it is still in first person, so. You're going to be have to doing shit and reacting to shit.
Right, because my thing was like when she needed to find. I remember one part particular where she had to find a male character. I don't remember his name or anything. But like, literally, like, he's like, okay, so, and the narrator's like, okay, so let's go find this guy. And he just starts walking, doesn't say anything else. And just walks through a boatload of shit and around corners and up streets. And he's like, oh, there he is. He's standing right there next to his car. Mm-hmm. It's like, how did he know that was there? It's like,
I wish that was like a sequence where you followed your guy, so that's how the game knows where he is. Follow him.
Well, no, I mean, he was the female character had to find a male character because she got like a message or something that said that somebody was looking for her. Yeah. And so then the narrator like, now we got to go find this guy. And then he just literally walks out and walks through a bunch of random shit, but he clearly knew where that person was located.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
just follow the guy.
Follow what guy?
The guy who leads you to where you talk to the other dude.
But nobody let her though.
She was with that other guy the whole time, that Mexican dude. She was only not with him for like half of one scene. She was pretty much with him for the rest of it.
Yeah, I think he was just behind her.
Yeah. It was telling you where to go.
I don't know. I'm not against it at this point. I just wasn't overly impressed by the demo.
Well, it's gonna change anyway.
Yeah. Even said this is not a finished product.
Yeah.
Yeah.
because I'm somewhat interested in the No Man's Sky if it, like you said, is actually the game that they originally advertised it to be at this point.
Yeah.
Because it seems like because what I read about it, seems like something I'd like to do. It seems like a kind of a basic, fairly simple open world game where there's not a huge amount of mechanics to it, and
No Man's Sky?
Shut your brain off.
Oh, you mean One Man's Lie?
Yeah.
yeah. Well, they supposedly in October there's this update coming out. They're supposed to actually make it the
They've
game
been like
it was originally
slowly
supposed to be or
patching
something.
in the stuff they said was going to be in the game, so eventually it'll be a game it's going to be. But it shouldn't have taken this long. I shouldn't have bought it like the night it came. Like I stayed up till midnight so it was available on the fucking PSN store. And I was so disappointed. What a not good game.
Yeah, I'm playing the Xbox One Redux version of the Skyrim right now because I just can't find anything else out there I really want to play at this point.
Yeah.
I bought the remastered version of LA Noire a couple weeks ago.
How's that?
Good, it's a good game.
Never played it. I remember when it came out, but
Very rockstar-y.
it's like a mystery type game.
Mystery, yeah.
You're like a detective. Well, you're like you're on different benches, so sometimes you're like on the
Like Vice and Traffic.
Yeah, like Vice, Traffic. What's the fire? Arson.
Arson.
You know.
Gotcha. It's a Rockstar game, so it's kind of like Grand Theft Auto-esque, probably.
Sort of, yeah.
Yeah, well.
That's what I heard. One of the comparisons that somebody made about Red Dead Redemption 2 was that it's basically just Grand Theft Auto set in the Western civilization.
Yeah, pretty much.
But I wish that was an RPG.
Not everything can be an RPG.
Nothing's an RPG. Are you kidding me? Nothing simple enough for my dumb ass. I was watching you play Dark Souls the other day. I was like, fuck that.
Yeah, well, Dark Souls isn't like complicated or difficult as much as it is like kind of like a pain in the ass. Dark Souls was like, we did this just kind of piss you off, just to annoy you.
Yeah.
You know? And so there is stuff that's genuinely hard in it, but it's like, there's other stuff that's like, oh, you didn't know this was here? Well, fuck you.
How's your progress coming on Hollow Knight?
We put up the Godmaster DLC, so I
Like, what, 10 days earlier or something?
It was like 3 or 4 days.
People were
earlier.
freaking the fuck out.
So it was like, when they released Godmaster, I went from being 107% done to 101% done. Because I've already done like all like the extra other DLC and shit. But Godmaster is so fucking difficult. It's a boss rush against all of the bosses. Then I got to do boss rushes against all the super bosses. Just all the bosses again, except harder. Then I got to fight like 4 or 5 new DLC bosses that they put in there. Those were all super bosses. You know, the game is like putting nails in my penis. But you know, I like it. It's fun.
Sounds fun.
I like platforming games.
Yeah, one game that a board game I looked at for a while. I always thought sounded interesting was Ticket to Ride.
Oh, yeah, I heard.
I can't remember what we were watching there.
Isn't that the train game?
Mm-hmm. I don't know if we were listening to I don't know if we were listening to Super Best Friends or what, but one of the podcasts we were listening to, they had just got done playing a game of that, and we're like, it was fucking horrible. So, like, well,
They said it was bad.
mm-hmm.
I still say we need to grab Betrayal at House on the Hill.
I don't know.
Like $100.
No, it's
We need to get, I don't know, but Wooly, the dread guy on Super Best Friends, he's playing for like crazy expensive, but it's like there's like an online version to play. It's a lot like, but it's supposedly way more hardcore. So
Yeah, we need to find time to play D&D. Got so much shit written, it's not funny, but nobody to play it. We got people to play it, no time to get together, but anything else on games? Anybody got any other video games they played or?
are you excited for Spider-Man? It's like out in like
Puddle
the end
Gate?
of the week, I think.
Puddle Gate. I'm not getting it. That puddles in it.
Puddle Gate, yeah. Yeah, the puddles are gone, so the game graphically looks worse.
I don't have a PlayStation, so I got a PlayStation 3, but not a PlayStation 4. So
no, I'm probably gonna wait till fall. I mean, it's one of those games where I'm gonna wait till all the DLC comes out, and then DLC comes packaged with it at some point for like $40.
$40 or $50, you get like $150 worth of shit.
Yeah, so I'm just waiting for that shit. That's what I did for all the Batman games after Asylum.
Is that out yet, or is it still coming?
It's coming this Friday, I believe.
I got a buddy that's probably buddy of mine that does another podcast called Toy Geeks. Shout out.
Shout out to Toy Geeks.
Talk a lot about the Funko Pops and a lot of toys and video games and movies. A lot of Marvel stuff, but he was like his favorite game. One of his favorite games ever is the Spider-Man for the PS2, I think it was.
The first movie game?
I think so. Yeah, I think it was from the first movie. It's one of his like favorite games of all time, and so he was interested in or very interested and excited about this new game. So I'm sure he probably pre-ordered it. And
Ultimate Spider-Man on PS2 was really good.
I never played it.
Really good.
I only played like Spider-Man.
I don't think I've ever played a Spider-Man game.
And none of them were like the fucking Shattered Dimensions or.
I think there used to be an actual stand-up arcade like console game.
Was Ultimate Spider-Man the one where the symbiotes took over the fucking city?
So what?
Which one? What was the one where the symbiotes took over the city? Like Web of Darkness or something? Web of Shadows? But that was one of the ones I played. You know, I don't know how I feel about this new Spider-Man. The story looks kind of interesting, but it also looks like the kind of thing they would do with this game, where there's like one overarching story, but there's like a lot of smaller side stories where you'll just fight each of this rogues gallery, like the Batman. So who knows? It might be something cool and different. I hope Venom is in the game, because it would suck to have a Spider-Man game without Venom.
Agreed, yeah.
Especially if this fucks up and fails for whatever reason. We won't be a sequel, and I'll guarantee no Venom. And there hasn't been like a good video game Venom. Like there was one in a Spider-Man game a while ago that kind of like, but kind of like.
What about the movie coming out?
Venom?
Mm-hmm.
Crap. It's gonna be PG-13.
Mm.
You know that character that fucking eats people's brains?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's why.
Yeah.
That's because it gets more views.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely.
And do you know what other Marvel movie? One of the few other Marvel movies that was great.
Deadpool
Blade.
2, Blade.
But I mean, Deadpool's only rated R because they did the character correctly. You know, they were accurate to the comic books of the character.
Well, they let him curse. That was it.
Yeah.
They let him curse.
Not even just that, like the kind of jokes he was telling and the violence, like that. Like,
well, but
all of that is Deadpool.
Yeah, but I mean for the rating.
I guess, but
Like that's what got it the R rating was the language. Because the violence, they do that shit in PG-13.
Not the level of violence of Deadpool, though.
Pretty close to it.
Close, but not the shit they're doing. Like he sawed his fucking hand off, and like showed, like it wasn't like a discretion shot. It was they showed his hand coming
Right,
off.
I know, but they get pretty close to that PG-13. It was the language and like the sexual situations that got it.
I mean, the combination of everything got the R.
But you didn't like them much, did you? I
liked the first one. I didn't like the second one.
I enjoyed them both, but
I thought the second one was it was like more of the same, but it wasn't like good or clever anymore, and it was like too much fourth wall shit at points.
mm-hmm. I know you're not a fourth wall fan.
Like the only scene I really liked was when they just fucking kill all of X-Force in one go.
Yeah, that was except for Domino. Yeah, that was.
Yeah, I was like that. Like that's kind of funny, I guess. But then I kind of
post credit scene was funny.
Oh yeah, where he like kills Ryan Reynolds.
He goes back and kills him in the kills the Green Lantern.
Yeah.
Ryan
Where
Reynolds.
he's like reading the script and he just fucking puts a bullet in his head.
And then or in the
he kills X-Men Origins Wolverine Deadpool.
And then they go back in time and the one dude with the mustache is still alive. The part of the squad. that he creates.
Oh, yeah,
This dude doesn't have any
Fucking-
abilities. He
yeah.
just has like the mustache.
What's his name? Like Paul or
And,
some
yeah,
shit.
and he's got like the goggles and the mustache,
Yeah.
and like at the end of it, he's like,
No,
no, let's go do this. Like, no, trust me, you just go do your thing.
Yeah.
We're good. No more X-Force or whatever it was
Yeah.
called. But
Yeah, I mean, like I thought they would do more with Cable, but they did nothing. Like he was supposed to be, oh, he's edgy. Let's make fun of how edgy it is. But there wasn't. Cable was the guy from the future, but he was like
Thanos.
Yeah. Josh Brolin.
So I love that part when he called him Thanos in the movie. So,
but he was like they were like making fun of how edgy he was, but then they didn't do anything with it. Just kept being like an obviously edgy character, like an overly '90s dark, character.
yeah, you killed my daughter, kind of.
It's
fuck
like
you up.
It's like that's it. Like you're not even gonna try to do anything like clever with the character. You're just gonna do the character. They even had the fucking obvious shit where he gave up his chance to go back to his time period so he could help Deadpool.
Right.
So you didn't even like play on the trope at all. You just you made fun of it and you just did it, which I really didn't like.
Yeah. Well, don't they become like part of like a team or something at some point? In the
They're
comics?
the Deadpool and Cable or the Cable and Deadpool comic books, yeah, but. It's like two dudes kind of just fucking around space and time.
Josh Brolin will forever be Brand.
Right.
Goonies.
Oh. Boo.
Whatever, dude.
What? You don't like that movie?
That's over.
You get out of here.
Dude, he
You
just
leave
he
this
dislikes 97% of the movies he sees, so it's okay.
Listeners, for the record,
Like the reason I don't see a lot of movies is because I don't really like movies. I don't like sitting around for movies. I don't like having my time wasted. But I'll sit around and watch like a fucking like 16-part TV show. That's different.
The other way around, because like if you watch a movie and it sucks, you only wasted 2 hours. If you watch a TV series and it sucks, you wasted like a month.
But I mean, I'm the kind of guy who will just check out of a TV series if I have to. If it gets that bad, like if I watch 2 episodes and it sucks, well, that was an hour. Bye.
Yeah, I mean I do that quite a bit, but because I was really stoked about
I don't know what you're saying. Star Trek.
the
Discovery.
No, the Seth MacFarlane one.
Oh, the Orville.
The Orville. Because I was like, I kind of like Family. Family Guy was great for a while. It kind of wore out, but to the most part, I somewhat like his sense of humor. But I'm thinking, a Star Trek, because he had said it wasn't going to be like a straight up like slapstick comedy. So I'm thinking, Star Trek with a comedy side to it,
Right.
could be funny. But the first episode was just so fucking horrible. I couldn't do it. It was too much of the Me Too bullshit.
Oh.
Don't get me wrong. I'm all about women empowerment or whatever, but it was like she cheated on him, and then she gets put in a position of power basically over him, and then they glorify her the whole rest of the episode, and she's the hero. And I'm just thinking, like, if he would have been the one that cheated on her in the beginning of
he'd be a piece of shit.
he would be a piece of shit, and they would ridicule him the entire rest of the series. Not a single 10-minute section of that TV show would have gone by without somebody making a joke about him being a cheater or a pervert or something like that. But yet she's the one that cheats, and then she gets glorified and becomes like the hero. And I'm just like,
probably
fuck
no matter,
that.
No matter what he would have done, he could have saved like an entire planet, an entire race of people, or
Yeah.
stopped the plague. They'd be like, "Well, you still cheated." So
Yeah, and the first thing somebody would have said was, "Yeah, you probably fucked
You know
the
what
president
that
or
is?
something."
That's the Ant-Man effect. The original Ant-Man, Hank Pym. One time, he hit his wife, like, in the fucking 60s or whatever. He's never lived it down.
Yeah.
That's why Ant-Man isn't the hero now, because he hit his wife one time. So now that's his whole thing. He saved the world from fucking Ultron like a million times.
Not saying it's okay to hit your wife, but
right. But if you fucking save the universe, maybe you should get a fucking pass. Maybe people should let it go. Especially if you profusely apologize.
yeah, it's a one-time incident.
But yeah, I see what you're saying.
But
she does all this bad shit to him, kind of fucks up.
Yeah,
his
like,
life,
yeah.
and then-
because his whole life is fucked up. I mean, he went from being like, the next captain of a starship to a drunken loser that couldn't get to work on time and all this kind of shit because he was so emotionally fucked up by it. And, all of a sudden, now he gets to be a captain of the ship and, oh my God, she has to be your first officer. And it's like, are you kidding me? This is, the drama bullshit between the two of them is not the shit I want to see and deal with. It's not funny.
So you know what's crazy? I was thinking like when Orville and Star Trek Discovery first came out, everybody was like, "Oh, which Star Trek show was gonna, outdo the other?" And like everybody was saying, Orville was better than Discovery at first. And
I've heard the Orville actually turned out to be decent, but if it's got more of that shit in it, I'm just not.
I remember
interested.
like Orville kind of like peters out. Like I didn't hear anybody talk about the ending or anything. Like I don't know if the season's over or not.
It got picked up for at least one more season.
But people were saying Discovery ends amazing. Like it's kind of like dumb good. So,
well, and there's a big like. I don't know if the twist is that Spock's coming on the show or if that was just something else, but
I think they're going
somebody
to get
said
Spock, but
somebody said something about there was some kind of twist where everybody that didn't like the show all of a sudden was like, "Oh shit!"
I think they're going to the planet.
Is it actually the dude that played Spock in the movies, or is it just a Spock character? I can't remember that guy's name.
Oh,
Zach something.
I
wanted to say Zach. Yeah.
Quinto. There
you go. Yeah.
I almost thought you meant what's his name? Original Spock.
Leonard Nimoy.
Yeah, he's like, no,
he's
dead.
Yeah.
He's dead.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, I don't know. Because they have. I don't believe they've actually found him yet. They've gone and getting him. He's like their captain, I guess.
Gotcha. Well, because there's another new one coming out. It's just got announced, but I don't know if it's Netflix or if it's actually going to be on TV. But the new one that's supposed to be the life of Jean-Luc Picard.
Oh yeah, they announced it. Yeah, like
post
20 years
Next
later.
Generation. Is it that much later?
Yeah.
He'd be like fucking 100.
Well,
you figure he had to have been in like his at least late 50s.
Well, think about when that show came out and think about him now.
No, it's early 90s. I get it.
It's been
20 years.
So
but
they can still,
I guess he probably is in his mid 70s at this point.
The character would still work.
But yeah, and he's, in crazy good shape. But I would definitely have some interest in that. Because I loved Next Generation.
Patrick Stewart is great, so,
Oh, yeah, I mean, his character on American Dad is fantastic.
Awesome,
yeah, Bullock. And, of course, he was King Richard and Robin Hood. Men in Tights.
Depiction of Charles Xavier ever.
Agreed.
No one's ever done it better.
Bald guy in a wheelchair.
Hell yeah!
I can go down to the local VA and find about 5 of them for you.
But you know what? His performance as Professor Xavier is like iconic. It's perfect. It hits the nail on the fucking head. There's no room for like everything. No, he did Charles Xavier. It's perfect.
And I hope fucking Chris Pine and Thor don't cost us a Quentin Tarantino R-rated Star Trek movie.
I don't think they're going to be in that anyway.
You don't think? He's not going to be part of that series of movies? It's going to be a standalone?
Probably.
That would be kind of weird to have a standalone Star Trek with just like a
I
whole
don't
new...
think they
with just like a whole new Kirk and all that kind of
risk
weird
attaching
shit.
it to characters.
Risk? It's not going to do worse.
It can. It can always be worse.
I said it's not going to...
fucking hate
I said it's not going to do worse. It's a Star Trek movie.
You know what's worse? Ghostbusters.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. It could be Ghostbusters.
No, what I'm saying is, no, it could.
But
if they do a
Star Trek Beyond
standalone,
was good enough to where people were like, there's like good faith and goodwill with the series now. It just didn't do well because people really like it's dark.
Yeah, but it's Tarantino. When has he ever just made a complete like just piece of shit?
Never. But I guess at the same time, people will fill in to see the movie regardless.
That's what I'm saying. It's going to be a Star Trek movie, so you're going to get those people. Then you're also going to get the Tarantino films because that is not the same genre when it comes to fandom. I mean, not all the time. There's probably not a lot of people that are big Tarantino fans that are also big Star Trek fans, even though he himself is a big Star Trek fan. But his movies are in no way anything like a Star Trek movie. I mean, he's never done anything sci-fi, has he? He's done some horror. He's done like Kill Bill. Like kind of action, but he's never done anything like sci-fi stuff.
Which I think, since this probably isn't even going to happen now, he now has a sci-fi script he's going to do with something.
Well, I mean, his might happen if it's a standalone like you're talking about.
But it won't be Star Trek now. It'll just be Quentin Tarantino's sci-fi adventure, whatever that is. Which I would like to see.
Like his Captain Kirk and Commander Spec.
Yeah.
And like the Uhura instead of Uhura.
And they say like 30
yeah, right.
In space.
Samuel L. Jackson is.
Yeah. Oh, Who would Samuel L. Jackson be? He'd be a fucking Klingon.
Oh no, he's Captain. He's fucking Captain Kirk, man.
Oh my god, people would not. No.
Captain Thaddeus Kirk.
We can't even have a fucking black James Bond.
Captain
so
Thaddeus Kirk.
Yeah, Kurt's, yeah.
Thaddeus Kirk.
No, people lose their shit. They're like, you can't have a black starship captain, even though like what Deep Space Nine has one.
Yep. Well, and we talked about it the other day, but in the first redux of the podcast, but I've already got a script for the next for the Meg 2.
Oh yeah.
So Deshaun and I saw like the last 10 minutes of it, and then a couple days later I watched like the last 30 minutes of it, and it's your typical, shark movie. Just way bigger
it's
shark.
Jaws, but the shark is way bigger.
Way bigger sharks, better special effects, but still just your typical shark movie. But there'll be spoilers here for anybody that's seen it but hasn't seen it. But they do kill the shark at the end.
They killed a bunch of other sharks.
Yeah, they basically like make it bleed, and then a bunch of other sharks attack it and like eat it, and then it's like dead because at one point one of the sharks is eating it, swims out of its mouth. So I mean it's
like
been all the way through. So,
But
but my thing is what they didn't show is before it died, it like had a baby, and so like this evil corporation like captures the baby and like breeds it with a whale shark to make it like even bigger than a megalodon. And so their whole thing is that they're gonna like breed them and sell them as like weapons to these different countries and shit. And so then like the United States or whoever it is that finds out about it decides that they've got to hire people to build a mecha shark to fight the ultra megalodon shark.
Yep.
That to me sounds like an awesome fucking movie.
Mecha shark versus megalo shark. Mega whale shark.
In a way, you just described Pacific Rim.
Caught.
And Godzilla when he fought Mecha Godzilla.
And that.
Well, duh. That's where you get the mecha part from. But it's never been done in a shark movie. And as cheesy as the Meg was, that would be just a great cheesy part too.
I mean, like, I don't mind like crazy escalation like that, but it has to like come from somewhere. Like Jurassic Park is now getting to the point where like a cloned child freed a bunch of like other cloned dinosaurs, and now they just run wild to the world, and that's where we're at. And I want Jurassic Park to get crazy, and they just make like a dragon or some shit, or they make like a Godzilla monster. Like I want them to just drop.
Well, if there's another movie, it literally needs to be like 50 years in the future, and the world is literally like half dinosaur, half people, and they're constantly just fucking warring.
War for the planet of the dinosaurs.
We're trying to figure out how to cause another comet to come to the Earth and destroy.
We're trying to call it comets. That would be pretty good.
But
this is our only option. We don't have any nukes or anything. We call it meteor. Mr. President,
right?
We have the technology.
1-800-METEOR.
It's mostly it's mostly metal. We can build this huge magnet and just suck it straight to Earth.
What if we bring something bigger than what we were? That could be like the movie can end with something bigger than what we expected coming behind it.
No, what happens is at the end of the movie we get the magnet onto the, because you're partially right. It gets on the meteor we want to suck in. But then, like, we get the meteor, like, mostly sucked in, and all of a sudden, we realize there's an even bigger one behind it, and it starts sucking us towards it. Because it's got a heavier mass and everything.
Yeah,
and so it literally starts moving the Earth out of its orbit.
That's pretty cool. And then we gotta work with the dinosaurs to save the Earth.
Yeah, right. all the dinosaurs have to run to the bottom part of the Earth, so all the weight's down there, and it sucks the Earth back into its orbit.
Oh, you remember that episode of Futurama? Remember that episode of Futurama where all the fucking robots were like cordoned off on like one island, and they had to shoot fucking like fire in the air to get.
It's like one of the first episodes.
It's so weird. What do they have to do?
Because Leela and Fry have to go there and pretend like they're robots.
Yeah.
And Fry sneezes, and that one just goes. While we're on the movie subject, just for anybody that happens to hear this in the next week and a half and lives in the area, the IMAX Theater at the Indiana State Museum starting this coming Friday, the 7th. We'll be playing an IMAX film version of The Dark Knight and 2001: A Space Odyssey, back to back for 6 days only. And there's only about 6 or 7 prints of the 2001 in the world. Maybe less than that of The Dark Knight at this point because it's so old. The theater there just still happens to have their copies. So anybody that hears this and wants to see something only probably 1,000 other people in the world are going to see, come check it out.
Come get a dog, some popcorn.
Park in the garage.
But if you're gonna bring kids, don't come.
Yeah, there you go. don't bring children to Dark Knight or Space Odyssey, especially Space Odyssey, because we all know you got to be stoned and it's kind of boring. So kids are going to be bored of shitting everywhere. So, but feel free to park in the garage. They do validate, so park there. Just walk right in. Indians games are over for the most part, so there's one less traffic hazard. But all right, that's enough of the commercials.
All right.
What else we got? Actually, let's pause for a second. 'Cause I gotta take a piss. You actually pause.
We had a little break, a little potty break for one of us. But yeah, we're back. We're back in action.
Black in action.
I am black in action. Thank you. No, what were we talking about?
I don't remember what we were talking about before the break. I think we talked a little bit about. I think we may have finished up with like the Star Trek TV series. Stuff like that, but I was thinking maybe about but one of the things that kind of came to my mind was I'm a kind of a big along the lines we talked about toy geeks earlier. I'm interested in that podcast because I'm kind of a toy geek myself. I have a lot of different toys, collectibles from when I was a kid. A lot of my toys from when I was a kid still. The three of us plus some of our other buddies like to. I have a Hot Wheels racetrack. It's basically like like a Pinewood Derby track if you're a Cub Scout or Boy Scout, know what that is, but just a straight lane track, has 6 lanes, and we get together and race our cars and bet a little money on it, have a good time. The cars themselves are collectible, and some of them worth a little bit money, never a lot. I mean, you'll see some of them get upwards like $10 or $15, but so that's at $1 a piece when they start out. That's upwards of 100 times the original value, or 10 times its original value, I should say. But we don't really do it for the collectible part. We do it to race them and see which cars are faster. And
I'll fuck up a car if I have to. I'll make it worthless.
Just have a good time, exactly. So a lot of mine are beat to shit. I got some of my old ones from when I was a kid, and I got a lot of new ones. But
I got a bunch of shit.
One of the things I recently started getting into, and have recently decided I don't know if I want to continue, is the Funko Pops. My buddies from the Toy Geeks podcast are all about that. Have hundreds, if not thousands of them.
I love Toy Geeks because they're cool. I think Funko Pops are ugly.
Yeah, I mean they're
not cool to me at all.
I think some of them are kind of cool because they look like this. To me, they look like the kind of big head little kid versions of everything. But I'm way more particular about what I've been getting. Most of the ones I've got, unless they were like free ones I got from work or something, most of the ones I've actually paid for, just like things that I care about in life. Like, I bought an Elton John one because I'm an Elton John fan. I bought a Jerry Garcia one because I'm a Grateful Dead fan. I've got a Jake the Snake because I've been a wrestling fan since I was a little kid. So, yeah, most of the ones I've bought, I bought one the other day. It was Sonny Corleone. Most of the reason I got it because it was on sale for like $3.50. And I liked The Godfather, and it was already worth like $9. We figure if it is something I decide to sell at some point, I might. But the reason I said I wasn't sure if I wanted to continue is that, like, there's a couple that I've been interested in recently. Prince, the musician, has like 4 different pops coming out. And then there's some pops coming out from the movie Kubo and the Two Strings, which I really enjoyed.
Yeah.
And so my buddy that's way into them, and every time I have a question, I'd ask him or something. He's always telling me, he's like, get this app, download it on your phone or your tablet. It has all the stuff that's coming out, when it's coming out, basically, the values of each. You can, there's a little way where you search for them, you find them, you can click a little button and it adds it to your collection, so you can click on it and see all the ones you own and what their values are, all that. And it updates pretty much daily as far as new stuff coming out. And prices and everything. And so I downloaded it. And it's cool. And so I saw these Prince Pops and the Kubo Pops, and everything I've read says they all come out in October. My thing is I work mostly nights, so it's already kind of hard to collect something like that, because from what these guys are saying, unless you're lucky, any of the ones that are really cool that might be worth a little bit or that are a little more rare, people snatch up. As soon, they find out when they're coming out, and they get to the stores real early and they snatch them all up. And being somebody that works second and third shifts, getting up to be at a store at 9 o'clock in the morning to buy a Funko Pop is not something that I'm gonna do. I don't care how much I like it. And so because of that, I was asking my buddies, like, what can I do to try to guarantee that, I'll get some of these things, if I want them. And he basically told me that there are some stores like GameStop and others that will go ahead and pre-order things for you, as long as it's not like an exclusive that's going to be like worth $1,000 or something.
Right.
Or if it's something they're only going to get like 2 of. But most of the time they'll pre-order stuff for you. And so we went into GameStop the other day just because it was right next to the Little Caesars, and we needed to wait a few minutes, so we went in to look around. And right when I walked in, they had a bunch of Funkos by the door, and so I was just looking at them. And right there in the front is one of the 4 Prince Pops that's not supposed to come out till October. Right. And this was several days ago, so it's still in July. And of course, they had 2 of them, and both the boxes were all jacked up. And I asked the guy working, I'm like, how do you have this Prince Pop? It's not supposed to come out until October. And he was like, I really don't know. They just show up whenever. And so I'm like, okay, cool. But, they're like $11 or $12 there. They're like $9 at other stores. I'm like, I don't want to pay that much for it. Plus, like I said, both the boxes were kind of jacked up. And so I decided not to get the Prince one. But I wanted to go ahead and pre-order the Kubo one that I wanted. And again, one that everything online everywhere says comes out in October. He's like, oh yeah, I can order that for you. So he gets online, he asks for the name of it, and I tell him, it's Kubo with Little Hanzo. And so he looks it up, and he's like, sure enough, yeah, there it is. And he clicks on the little pre-order button, and it tells him he can't pre-order it because it came out yesterday, which would have been like a week and a half ago at this point. And I'm like, so you don't have any in the store. Everything online everywhere says it doesn't come out till October, but you can't pre-order it for me because your computer says it came out yesterday. And he was just like, yeah. So I don't know if this is a shitty GameStop thing, or if this is just, so I text my buddy that's into it, and I tell him, like, this is kind of my problem with it. These things are already hard enough to collect the cool ones as it is. It makes it even worse when you have there's absolutely no rhyme or reason to when they come out.
I'm pretty sure that's like a GameStop.
But my thing is it can't be a GameStop fuck up, because they don't just get shit 3 months early because they're GameStop. It's like they don't just fuck up. I mean, I guess they could have fucked up and just sent them to their store on accident.
They might have just had them sit in the fucking back, and somebody wasn't supposed to put them up.
So, possibly, but I really don't know. But my whole point is that even if that's the case, why was his computer telling him he couldn't order the Kubo one?
Yeah.
But my whole point is that these things are already hard enough to collect. If they're going to tell you it's coming out in October, and you want to prepare to get ready to pre-order it or whatever you got to do, and then all of a sudden you go to a store and you find out they're already out and all the ones you wanted are gone.
Right.
So it's like, what's the point? So I texted that to my buddy. He was like, welcome to the world of pop.
What a frustrating world.
Yeah, no thanks.
And I'm like, you know what? I don't really know that I want to collect
these. Especially not for
these
these little
anymore.
things.
Yeah. It's like, I don't know that I want to collect them anymore.
And I was like, the only pop I want is the Hollow Knight pop, because the Hollow Knight already looks like a Funko Pop. That's it.
Biggie Smalls came out.
Oh yeah.
Well, the design came out. At least I don't know if it's been released or not, but
yeah,
the new one. I guess they had
like instead of having like a bunch, like a shit ton of these like little pops, I'd rather like just say them. Like if I'm getting a figure, I'd rather just get like a real ass figure.
Sure, I get you. I mean, it's like, the McFarlane action figures and stuff like that, but for me, it was kind of a cool thing that you can collect. It's not very expensive. Yeah. They're only like $8 to like $11. If you can actually get them at a store. But that's the problem, is that from what I've seen, you can't just get these things at a store. If the one you want is even remotely popular, you're gonna end up paying $20 to $30 for it on eBay, and that's not something you're not really can afford, but I'm willing to do because, like you said, for $20 or $30, I can get me a couple of McFarlane action figures, or I can get on eBay and get a couple of the old movie monster action figures I've been wanting or something like that for that kind of money. So I'm not going to spend that on a little pop that's never going to do anything but sit in a box on a shelf in my room because they're cool to display, but because I'm not my buddies, I think they like collecting them, but they buy a bunch just because they think they're going to be worth a lot of money.
Yeah.
And
because that immediately makes them fucking worthless for whole fuck ton of people buy them. Like, especially when when there was an issue of X-Men that, because another issue was super rare, everybody went and got the next issue, and it was like, because so many people got it
well, the popularity of the first one made the second one, made them make 10 times as many of the second one so they could sell them. Because the comic book companies don't see any of the money when somebody sells it on eBay for $1,000.
Yeah.
They only got the $3 or whatever it was when it came out. So if they can sell 2 million of them instead of 1 million of them, that's what they're going to do. Which you can't really blame them. But yeah, so it's like, I kind of enjoy the pops, and I like how there's so many pop culture things. Like I bought the 4 Kids from Sandlot. That's one of my favorite movies of all time.
I guess I'm more impressed, than more than I like it. You're able to have this thing encompass basically all of pop culture and like that. That's cool, I guess.
Well, because the people that came up with this shit are fucking brilliant.
Right.
They're making money hands over fist, dude. But my thing is there's got to be some kind of rhyme or reason to it. If they're telling me this shit's coming out in October, then bring the shit out in October.
Yeah.
Don't tell me it's coming out in October, and so I wait and just kind of forget about it until then. And then when October rolls around, I try to look for it and find out it's already out and they're all sold, and I got to pay $30 for it. Because the very next day when I told my buddy about the GameStop told me they couldn't pre-order it, he got online and said that his GameStop was telling him he still could pre-order the Kubo.
Yeah.
So I don't know if like maybe the guy at GameStop was just being crazy lazy, but that didn't seem like the way he was when we were there. Right. He was trying to sell us other stuff. So I mean, he seemed like he was kind of like the manager, and like, you know, because he kept calling it like, you know, his place and us and we, referring to the store.
Right.
And so I was like, you know, he kept trying. He asked me if I wanted to buy a couple other things. So you would think that if I wanted to buy something, that, you know, he would have been more than willing to take my $5 and let me pre-order it.
Right.
And I basically watched him do it. I didn't see the part that said he couldn't pre-order it, but I watched him type in the Kubo and pop it up. And then all of a sudden he was like, "Oh, I can't because it says that it came out yesterday." And I was like, "Well, do you have one?" "Oh, no." It's like, "Well, great."
So, like what? Like the one already? You got them? Don't have them?
He couldn't tell me that. He was like, "I don't know." He's like, "I don't know if we had them and sold out. It just says we have 0 in stock."
Sounds like he might have slipped a couple through the back door for himself.
Well, that's
one of
the other things he told me too, is that their UPS driver gets all the cool ones because that's who delivers them. And I guess, you know, based on probably the box that come in or something, they know what's in there, so they like open them up as soon as they get there, and then the UPS driver just buys all the ones that he wants, he or she wants, I guess.
That's fair. To the consumer.
Well, that's one of like Leighton's big bitches too, is that him and, you know, our other buddy that are into it, is that they feel like there's a lot of these places where the employees get most of the really cool shit.
Yeah.
Which is funny because one of them's wife, I think, just became a manager, like an FYE, which is one of the main like places that sells them and gets a lot of the exclusive ones. But
you know, like, yeah, I know there have been like GameStop employees, like when they get in like PS4s, like Xbox Ones, like when those first were coming out, they would save them for the employees. Yeah, they would be like, "Yeah, hold these back here for us." Yeah, you know?
Oh, yeah.
So when places would run out, it was because the employees took.
Yeah, most of the time.
Just being crazy.
Yeah. But yeah, I've got a ton of the McFarlane action figures when it comes to. I got sports. I've got several Colt ones. You know, Peyton Manning, Andrew Luck, bunch of baseball ones, mostly St. Louis Cardinals. But I've got a few other guys. Few of the different. I got like several different NASCAR McFarlane ones. Few of the different movie monsters. Got a Jay and Silent Bob. I'm not sure if they're McFarlane or not. I think they are. I'm
Probably.
not positive. Boatload of Star Wars Legos. I mean, right now there's a ATST and Poe Dameron's X-wing fighter. There was an Imperial shuttle in here, but it got knocked over, put back in the box. But I do like my toys, my old stuff, my new stuff. I'm gonna miss Toys R Us quite a bit because I used to go in there at least like once a month just to walk around and look at the toys and see what's new and what's available and like look at all this shit and think, man, where was that when I was a kid? But
yeah, look at some of these Nerf guns from today. I think back to when I was a kid. You're like a thing that looked like a pistol. Now they have like sniper rifles.
Yeah, I mean, well, shit. When I was a kid, I mean, the projectile shit we had were just dart guns, and then eventually we had these little things that shot these little discs.
Oh yeah, the disc gun.
That looked it looked like the little thing you put on a record player so you could play a 45 record. But and those things were shitty because there was absolutely no way to tell where that disc was going to go. Because it could come out and fly straight. It might go straight up in the air. It might go straight into the ground. You couldn't use them at all if it was windy. But not if you wanted it to go where you're aiming. But yeah, and it's like now they got like, you know, all we have in Nerf when I was a kid was little Nerf basketball goals and Nerf football. And eventually we had a Nerf baseball, which was kind of fun. It was basically just like a thick Nerf material wrapped around a rubber core. But
now they have Nerf AR-15 and their class.
Right. Yeah. Good call. I don't know. I have any idea why people are showing the guns and shit. I mean, they don't grow up with, you know, shooting fucking fake ones everywhere with these incredibly realistic Nerf guns and other kind of shit. It's like, why would you like guns as a grown up? You know, all you do is play with them your whole adolescent life. But then again, I played with guns my whole life, and I didn't grow up with that fucking fat, you know.
Yeah, like I played with like swords and shit, but I don't want to fucking slice up enemies. A duel. You know?
I want to slice up all my enemies, but it's not really allowed. Yeah. So, any of you guys have like an old toy or anything when you were a kid that you still have that you really like, or
I was
kind of a prized possession type thing?
I have like two like Power Rangers, like one's like a watch they would put on to like transform into Power Rangers. Another one's like a cell phone. That one guy would turn into a Power Ranger.
Nice.
And then besides that, I have two. Burger King. I think it's Burger King. They were when Dragon Ball Z was getting like, really big in the U.S. They started giving out like toys, like little statues, and I got those. I got a Gohan one, I got a Goku one, I got a Super Goku one. I think I also got a Piccolo one, I believe.
You got one of a tiny flute?
No, but he wasn't named after it. But that's really it because all my toys were for me when I was a kid. They were meant for playing with, so I would smash them all up against each other.
Yeah.
Break all my toys.
Now, there's a shit ton of stuff that I had as a kid that I wish I still had that either got beat up and destroyed or my parents just ended up getting rid of in a yard sale or something over time. But
me too, because I was at my grandparents and I was looking through a lot of those old toys. I had like some pretty cool like Transformers, Power Rangers knockoff toys that I would get on like military bases.
Yeah,
and it was like they look pretty cool still, you know. And I was like, I wish I still had these. They were the kind of things that I would just put up on like my shelf now. They look.
Yeah.
And people would be like, what are those? And I'm like, oh, it's some knockoff bullshit.
Yeah, I still have like most of my Star Wars stuff, which would probably be like where I would go as far as like if I had a prized possession type thing. But there's enough of it. There's not really one thing that I overly like. I mean, there's a bunch of my Star Wars stuff, but I had so much stuff, like all my G.I. Joes and He-Man, my wrestling action figures, all that stuff just like disappeared over time from my parents' house, whether they just got rid of it to make space, or gave it away, or sold it in a yard sale, or whatever it was. I mean, the stuff just like disappeared. But yeah, I would say probably my Star Wars stuff. I've got an old Star Wars Return of the Jedi sleeping bag that like I got in like 1984 when the movie came out. A couple older things like that, but maybe I got this old I got a set of GI Joe walkie talkies when I was like 10 years old for Christmas. That was I still got those. They were pretty awesome. But
I also got walkie talkies, but for like the ones that I got from the book.
oh
They
yeah,
were like they came with a book. And the book was all about like spy shit. So it was
really?
it came with like a walkie talkie, it came with like a notepad and a pen with invisible ink and like a little UV light that you put on it.
Yeah, nice.
And it had fucking fingerprint dust.
Oh yeah,
Like a thing of like fingerprint dust and like little brush that you
thing.
use.
Nice.
I was like, kind of fucking weird.
Yeah, we. I remember getting those. My uncle bought them for me. And, I remember like it wasn't real cold out, so we went outside. And the street they lived on was just fairly decent sized hill, and so like my uncle, of course, just stood in front of the house, and I like ran all the way up the hill. But it was probably a good 150 yards or so from where he was at, where I was at. And it was like we could talk back and forth clear as day, and it's like a 10-year-old kid that's one of the coolest things ever. But I remember they were really clear too. We used to play guns a lot and like tag and shit and stuff like that. And there would be I remember one time in particular where I was playing some of my neighbor kids. It was right after I'd gotten those, and I hid one of them in like the bushes.
Huh.
Then I went and hid around the corner where I could see the bushes, and like held the button on mine and just like kind of whispered into it and stuff. Like some people actually heard it. Thought I was hiding in the bushes and went over there, and it worked out. I was able to, capture them or shoot them or whatever it was that we were doing for that game. But then walkie talkies I had before that, like it was like 75% static and 25% your voice coming through kind of thing. It was like you might as well just be using a couple of cups for the string in between them. But these were pretty awesome. I still got those. As far as I know, they still work. It's been 7 or 8 years since I've probably got them out, tried them.
I don't have much of anything I have.
Oh yeah. Tucked it all at some
Just
point.
like you said, in between moves and stuff, it's all gone. Also, I had my main.
Yeah, see, that was shit that I was never letting go. Because I love the movie, so I didn't want to hang on to it because I thought it was going to be worth money, but mostly just, I really like Star Wars.
Yeah.
It's something I didn't lose interest in as I grew up. I lost interest in G.I. Joe and He-Man.
Yeah, you didn't lose interest
stuff like
in Star Wars
but,
until the new trilogy came
yeah,
out.
right. I always loved Star Wars, and they made new movies. So
I love this thing, and then they fucked it up.
We all
I
know
still
what-
love Star Wars. I'm not counting those. Those don't exist.
I mean, yeah, but see, that's the thing is every one of those movies has some good qualities to it as far as carrying the story along. But as movies, they're all just pretty much garbage. I mean, the last like 40 minutes of Revenge of the Jedi is Revenge of the Sith is not bad. But
the final duel.
yeah, I mean, some of that stuff's kind of cool. But then again, it's like only if you just like do pretty shit lightsaber, which I do. Because one of my biggest complaints about The Last Jedi is that there's not a single fucking lightsaber duel in the whole goddamn movie.
Yeah, they fight a bunch of dudes like.
Yeah, they fight like the vibra swords and shit. But
I mean, I still like that shit because to me, that's like those are weapons that were made to beat Jedi and lightsabers and shit. So I figured the bad guys would have that.
Sure, no, I don't have a problem with that, but I have a problem with the fact that there was not. I mean, I don't think a lightsaber hits a lightsaber the whole movie.
The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
No, this scene was Snoke.
They're not fighting lightsabers. They're each fighting his guards
I think they flashed.
who are
Vibra
carrying the vibra swords and shit.
Because he uses it to kill Snoke. He takes her lightsaber.
Yeah, because
He kills Snoke with it and gives it to her.
Yeah.
Okay.
Gets her-
Spoilers.
Yeah.
Spoilers.
Who cares?
Yeah, that whole
The movie's
movie's
been out since like.
that whole movie's a fucking
forever.
spoil. But anyway, either you guys remember like a particular like Christmas gift or anything like that you ever like really wanted and actually got?
Oh.
You couldn't wait to get that Christmas morning?
I got like a PS3, but that was for my birthday. When I was a kid, I got this big like robot that I could talk to with like a headset and everything, command it and shit. It was called Commando Bot 3.
Oh man, that's kind of cool.
So he had like little big guns they can like shoot shit, talk. So like perimeter secure and shit like that.
Nice.
It was pretty cool. I didn't really want it, but it was just a really cool ass gift I got.
I think mine had to be my Atari 2600. Because I got that when I was like 9 maybe, 9 or 10. And got my Nintendo, when did Nintendo come out? 86 or 87? 87, 88. But so it would have been, I would have been like, yeah, like 8 to 10 years old. And I remember my stepdad and I like went to arcades quite a bit. And back when they were so popular, I lived in a small town and I had like 3 arcades in it. But I remember when it was a big deal about it coming out, and it was like a couple $100 for that, I say piece of shit. It wasn't a piece of shit back then, but
Right.
compared to what we have today, it's nothing. But
Calculate.
but I remember like 3 or 4 nights before like Christmas, like my stepdad actually came and like woke me up, and we went in the living room and like opened the end of the wrapping on the like box, and opened the end of the box and actually took it out and played, because it only came with one game. It was Combat. Of course, he was military, so he loved that shit. But we literally just got it out and plugged it into the TV and played it for like an hour or two while my mom was asleep in like the middle of the night. And then like packaged it all back up in the box and like put it back and like retaped the end of the gift wrap and shit, and put it back under the tree. But
Real Mission Impossible.
yeah, that's like the one I really remember. I mean, there was one year where I was almost positive I was getting a new bike, because me and my dad had gone out and we looked at a few, and he he wasn't didn't have a lot of money, so he gave me a few different ones to choose from, and asked which one I liked the most and stuff like that. And
You got your none.
no, he got the one that I chose, because I remember it was a red Huffy.
I was saying you got you like a rake, but you put it in a
Right, yeah.
in like a bicycle sized box.
Right, yeah. But I remember when it was already built, and it was standing on his kickstand in the middle of the living room when I came downstairs. I was a nightmare at Christmas when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Just like now, I didn't sleep. So like, my parents trying to find time to actually get up and sneak downstairs to put shit under the tree when I wasn't awake.
Oh yeah.
Hope there aren't any little kids that think Santa Claus is still alive. Still listening to this, but
Man, Santa Claus is still
But yeah, like I'd go like downstairs. I was like constantly like, I'm gonna stay up all night. Wait for Santa Claus. They'd be like, oh no, you gotta go to sleep. They're like, no, I'm gonna stay up. Like, no, come on, you gotta go to sleep. Because they knew if I said I was gonna stay up, I would. Because it wasn't hard for me then. Like it's not hard for me now. But so they were always trying to find ways to get me out of the house, or just to really wear me out, so I would fall asleep, so they could actually just get down there. And because they would always have stuff that was written from them. Then there'd always be like 2 or 3 gifts that said they were from Santa Claus, like that.
I never believed in Santa. I think pretty early on I was like, "Is this bullshit?"
I don't
It
remember.
sounds like bullshit.
I don't remember when I stopped believing in Santa Claus, but I remember believing in Santa Claus at one point. But I have I don't remember like a big epiphany or somebody like ruining it for me and having this big like dramatic thing. We found out that Santa Claus wasn't real. But I don't really remember when I stopped believing, but I remember believing when I was a little kid.
I'm pretty sure I was always just like, it's not real. What about you, Fish?
A certain gift?
Yeah.
I don't know about a certain gift. Well, I guess this was kind of my brother's. I remember one year they had finally gotten the PS1 when it first came out, and that was huge. I remember playing. I think they were playing. Boy, I can't remember. I want to say it was Twisted Metal, but I could be wrong. A bunch of those games. I remember there was one year I had kind of a Star Wars themed Christmas. And man, my dad hooked me up. He got me a Wookiee crossbow, Darth Vader helmet, the build your own like ultimate lightsaber kit, bunch of like little standalone like Star Wars action figures.
Nice.
It was awesome.
Wow. I hope you like it, son. Take it all away.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I had that stuff for quite a while. I don't know. Like I said, just disappeared over time.
Yeah, I lost even a lot. I lost a decent amount of Star Wars stuff even, but for the most part, I've got most of that left. So, but yeah, I've always been into toys. I love shit that keeps me, feeds my OCD.
Oh, and Rock Band. There was one year
Rock Band.
when Rock Band first came out. My dad got me like a whole band set.
Nice.
Got you a whole band set?
The whole band set?
Who the hell are you playing that with?
Shit, me, myself, and I.
You was like all 4 of your limbs to do each thing.
Fish is like fucking Phil Collins, bro.
Oh, yeah, dude.
He drums it up, plays the guitar, and sings all at once, man.
You know, I'd have to play with my friends. That shit first came out, it was expensive.
Friends? Do you have other friends?
Yeah, well, they were
I imagine.
What about Beatles Rock Band?
Beatles Rock Band was awesome.
And
yeah, you did also like an AC/DC one.
Only problem is that fucking Michael broke my damn drum pedal twice.
Right.
You listen to this, Michael. You still owe me a drum pedal, you bastard.
It's not because like he was wearing like big ass boots and stomp on
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
And instead of like, your foot, how you do that,
He was just
he would go call.
jackass. But
He accepts PayPal.
yeah, still got quick pay through Zelle. Just send it right over, bud. Better yet, just buy me a new pedal and have it shipped here, so I ain't got to deal with it.
Yeah.
Because we wanted to play that not too long ago, and I was like, I don't want to get it out because the damn drums don't work.
Still got a guitar.
2 or 3 guitars. We got the one it came with. I bought the George Harrison wireless guitar for it. It was like $100. It is pretty cool. And then I think it's just 2 guitars, a drum, microphone.
Oh, we did that too.
Turn.
But the drums are.
Agreed. Well, plus I have that on the Xbox 360, and I don't believe that's retro to the Xbox One, so
Agreed.
I have to get the old Xbox out. Xbox 360. But
So like our childhoods, let's bring the podcast to an end.
what are you talking about? No way, man. I'm still a kid at heart.
Damn straight.
I'm like, if you read the little quote at the very beginning of The Wizard of Oz, I think they wrote that shit about me.
Yeah.
To all those who are young at heart, we dedicate the movie.
He's on down the road.
That's the Wiz.
That's the better version.
Hey, pull over for a minute. I gotta take The Wiz. That movie is one of those ones that's fantastically fucking horrible. Because the only redeeming quality of that entire fucking movie is the music.
Hell yeah.
The
music holds the whole thing together. Otherwise, it's like
the
like
most
Oz.
racist fucking movie. They have fucking black people playing crows.
Well, yeah.
What kind of bullshit is that?
You saw fucking Jim Crow, the old cartoon character.
That's my point, dude.
To be fair,
instead of flying monkeys, they got crows on roller skates.
To be fair, everybody in the movie is black.
True.
So it's not like they just have the crows be white. Then y'all bitch about that too.
Well, they should have been white technically if you're in that world, because wouldn't the crows have been the opposite?
Yeah, but then they would have had to be like rich, powerful, because they're assholes.
Yeah, but that's fine. They're in the one scene, so they're minions basically.
Yeah, but they never get their comeuppance, really, do they?
I think they do actually. Get away from them.
I remember them being like kicked a little bit.
When the fat queen shit gets put in the oven or whatever and boiler at the end. I haven't seen it in forever. Michael Jackson. Yeah.
Please up on the fucking all crucified on the thing for some reason.
But the rest of it's terrible.
Nah, man, I think the music holds it together. The music overcomes like any like shortcomings it has.
No,
it's so much more exciting than.
Because I remember, like as a kid, I really, really enjoyed that, and then like 2 or 3 years ago, I tried to watch it, and it was just so bored.
Well, that's how I feel about Wizard of Oz. Wizard of Oz is boring.
Because just the only parts of that movie that were interesting were the parts when they were singing.
Yeah, everything else was just Wizard of Oz. Because Wizard of Oz is boring.
Well, but the Wizard of Oz had the cool thing about the Wizard of Oz was that it was early enough that the color thing was its mystique. Because even in like when I was a little kid, the colors in that were still like some of the first things that were really that bright and vibrant because it was the brand new Technicolor technology.
So you're saying it was good for its time.
So it was very.
And when it was out,
it was really pretty and like you can imagine what a new Wizard of Oz would be.
Yeah, Garbage was called Oz or whatever.
Yeah, it was a
Oz the Great
that was a
Powerful.
prequel though.
Yeah, but it's still the same world.
Same world, but different movie.
So
It was supposed to be earlier on, but yeah, I mean,
crap.
yeah, it was pretty much junk. I enjoyed it the first time, and then it was just like, yeah, I don't enjoy this anymore. But yeah,
Right.
but I do enjoy the Wizard of Oz. That was one of our big family Christmas or Thanksgiving things every year. We'd watch like the Wizard of Oz and Arthur. The Dudley Moore Arthur, not the stupid new one.
Russell Brand Arthur.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
but
That movie.
So did he.
That movie is almost exactly like Get Him to the Creek.
is it?
Yes.
Yeah, where he's like super rich,
Yeah.
and that's it.
There's nothing like.
Russell Brand.
That's basically all Arthur is. Just a love story, kind of a love story about a really, really, really rich dude that likes having fun with his money.
And Get Him to the Greek. Russell Brand's a really, really, really rich rock star, but his life is unfulfilled for some reason. They're never really clear why. He kind of just does dumb shit to fill field. So at the end of the movie, he jumps to a fool from like stories.
Did he die?
I don't remember.
That would be a good movie.
About half of the wedding scene.
Good flick.
Adam Sandler crap.
That's a good Adam Sandler
Good movie,
movie.
though.
Most of his movies are crap, but that was good. Mostly again because I love '80s music and that's full of it. But Drew Barrymore's kind of hot. Although the chick that plays her friend in that is way hotter. Of course, that's fucking Ben Stiller's wife. But she apparently does for some reason. But I can't remember. But even the chick that played like his like fiance before Drew Barrymore wasn't bad looking. Yeah, like the chick that played her like hoary like friend and roommate or whatever. I think she was like one of the Brady kids. Brady.
Well, it's been fun. See you next time.
Late.
Rubbed it in.
Now shut up.
All right. So.
That's how we're